Paul, I see you kind of given some reactions as I've been reading some of these quotes to Barbara to weigh in on. If you will, weigh in and talk to me about, as we think about the mindset of the former president of the United States, is this anything more than trying to kind of have a public influence on D.A. Bragg's decision in all of this?
Well, I think it is. I think it serves two purposes for him. One, I think it serves to rally his base of supporters. These are dog whistles, especially to the white supremacist supporters that are part of his base. And I also think that it helps further his political agenda right now while he's trying to raise his profile in the Republican agenda against other people who might be challenging him as he tries to pursue running for president again. If you look at what he's saying and how he's saying it, there's some real issues of concerns. As he's talking about the current prosecution that's happening in New York and saying that Bragg is a racist, this is the irony. While Bragg is an African-American prosecutor, rather than focusing on the charges, he's saying Trump is saying that he is being persecuted, that he's going to be locked in a cage by an animal. And more importantly, and I think this is really telling, he's calling on his protesters, he's calling on his supporters to protest in much the same way that he called on folks to protest for January 6th. And so all of this is a confirmation, rather than facing the actual things that he did that were criminal, rather than facing the actual charges and talking about them to defend himself, what he's saying is that he wants his base to rally around him, to disrupt the process, to support him, raise his profile, and that's his real agenda. That's what concerns me about what he's doing. This whole thing about how he's talking about it raises a lot of concerns to me, and it really makes it clear to me that he's not trying to force and address the issue as he's likely to have to do once this indictment does come through, and it will come through, I believe, very soon.
Do you think this is also kind of just bravado for the court of public opinion as he is heading into yet another election year running for president of the United States?
I think that it is, because as long as he can force people to pay attention to the bravado and not the facts, I think that gives him a benefit and an advantage. As long as people aren't looking at what he actually did, as long as people aren't looking at what the actual facts are, as long as people aren't comparing what his behavior was to criminal behavior, I think he wins. The problem is, it's not just this case in New York. There's still another local case in Georgia. There's still another state case in New York for his business practices. And there's still 2 federal investigations that are pending and looming around him. This is just the first one that's likely to show us what it looks like to have Donald Trump appear in court, what it looks like to have Donald Trump arraigned, what it looks like and sounds like to hear Donald Trump react to criminal prosecutions that are going to open the door to have him face accountability for his past behavior. That's what we're talking about, and that's what we're likely to see over these next few days. I don't have any doubt that that's coming, especially with this grand jury knowing and understanding how the grand jury works with potentially charges like this with Donald Trump.
Paul Henderson, thank you. Barbara Rez, thank you as well.